only.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any materials produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised. Now,
shut up and sit down.
where do we come from? How did we get here? These are the questions plaguing mankind since the dawn of time. Questions religion, science, and speculation have all tried to answer. Join us as we delve deep into the mysteries of our own origin. Boom. All right. We are here. We are live. We're trying this anyway. There is some inclement weather where my co-host is. So we're going to give this a try. We got some periodic, what sounds like a train rolling through or static or something kind of in the background. And I don't know if it's my new soundboard. I might have to try to switch back to the old one, or if it's actually on Matt's end, because he has some bad weather going on and there's been some power glitches and everything like that over there. Matt, are you still with me, bud?
I'm still here.
All right, perfect. The other thing is I might randomly lose Matt. We don't know. We don't know. And then if we lose him, we don't know where he goes. He just disappears into the abyss of the intergalactic web. So, Mallory's like, is it snowing there?
Snow and ice.
Snow and ice. And we're going to be having, in Iowa, we're supposed to be having snow and ice this week. Today was 74 degrees.
Oh.
And tomorrow's supposed to be 50. And then from there on out, we're not supposed to have any highs over 38 until after the end of the week. And then next week, it's 60s again. I am so sick of Iowa weather.
It's everywhere. It's just horrible.
But you know what? I'll probably never move away. So I guess I can't complain too much. I mean, it's in my blood. It's in my system. I've got it there, you know. So we're just going to keep it as is. Mallory's got nothing there, of course. I don't know where there is, and you don't have to reveal that. That's okay. But...
Come to the hills.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Okay, so tonight, we're going to attempt this anyway, talking about Mesoamerican pyramids. So this is like the Aztecs, the Mayans, the name is eluding me because I am not remembering it. It starts with an O. It's gonna bug me until I say it. What?
The Olmecs?
Yes, the Olmecs. Thank you. I was just getting to the page that had it written down on it too. Yep, the Olmecs. That era, and there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is their storm. That is the storm over in Matt. That is not a sound effect, I promise. That is Matt's storm. That's what I'm calling it anyway, whether it's real or not. So whenever that rolls in, that's what we're calling it. Hi, Shay. You're saying my name as very like individually. And Jen. Thank you for joining us, Jen. And I forgot to thank Mallory for joining us. I'm sorry, Mal. So thank you. And Kim, I'm sorry, I missed Kim. I can't believe I missed Kim. Oh my goodness. This is, let me tell you, my week, my last 2 weeks, I'm just going to come straight out and admit this. The first 2 shows, I planned diligently. I spent hours preparing, going through my research notes, researching online to see if anything new had been discovered and come about, like, for example, the whole thing about the electromagnetic fields at the Giza pyramids. In the last 2 weeks, I have not been able to spend more than 15 minutes on this show, so I apologize to you ahead of time. And there is a very, very good chance that when I have more time to actually prepare the show properly, the ever so anal way, the anal retentive way that I typically prepare these types of shows, I will probably say, hey, we're going to do this show again. Basically, it'll be a follow-up. We'll have a follow-up episode. You know, that one paranormal show on the TV there has their Aftershocks show. It'll be like our version of that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I apologize that this will not be the quality of show that I would like to put out. Because, you know, I don't put out anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely kidding
That's
on
what
that.
she says.
Yeah. But there's good information here. And between what I've been able to do and what Matt's been able to do, the 30 minutes we've put into this show.
That's being generous.
You know, it's been a hectic couple of weeks. It really has. It's been a hectic couple of weeks. And I almost said, when I found out that Matt was having issues, weather-wise, and he'd actually lost power a couple of times, just before the show, he's like, well, we haven't seen the lights flicker in like 45 minutes. I'm like, holy cow, 45 minutes. What? Shut up, Shay. No, I get what you're saying, though. No, yeah, I get what you're saying. Weeks, try months. But no, it has been a very hectic few months. It has been a very hectic life, because life happens. Anyway, I say anyway a lot, by the way. Anyway and but. I use the word but a lot. I feel like a minion. But... see?
Anyways,
Here it comes. There came the storm, and then it went away again. Woo. Anytime the storm comes, I think Matt just needs to start talking, and then it'll pick up from that. So we are going to be talking. There. We are going to be talking about these. Central American, basically. Mesoamerican, South American, Central American pyramids. Because last episode, if you didn't miss it, and if you did, go back and listen to it, because it's way better put together than this one was. We talked about the ancient Egyptian pyramids. And this time we're going to talk about Mesoamerican pyramids, the Mayans, the Aztecs. I'm turning Matt down. Sorry. I'm just turning Matt down for now. He can't even talk. You won't even be able to hear him. And we're keeping with the subject of the pyramids. Okay. The interesting fact about the Mesoamerican pyramids and the ancient Egyptian pyramids is they were actually built in or around the same era as the ancient Egyptian pyramids. So we're talking like roughly around 3000 BC is when they pretty much started building these structures, not just the pyramids themselves, but the structures in general like this. Now, there's only a few of them that are actually around that old, but we are talking of a span of thousands of years. I mean, the Mayan culture lived into the 900s AD. So we are talking a span of thousands of years. But trying to have Matt on just a titch in the background because, man, that's stormy over there.
It is something.
It is. It's. But like,
Excuse me.
Matt mentioned the Olmec earlier. That's one of the groups there. Actually, truly, the predecessors to the Mayans, because the Mayans copied. Wow, that was like a gong hit. That was my spring. Yeah, Bosnian pyramids are carbon dated 30,000 years. That is insane. That is insane. By the 1400s, before the Common Era, BCE, or what most people would just call 1400 BC, like the new politically correct term is BCE, before the Common Era. The Olmec had a capital city with palaces and temples. They were the first people in the Americas to build huge religious centers in their towns and cities. And then as the Mayans slowly took over the region from the Olmec, they built on many of the clever, if you will, ideas of these earlier people. Example, the Olmec had created a solar calendar. Oh man, I'm boring Mallory. She needs to sleep. She was listening to me. Now she's going to go to sleep. Ugh. Sorry for boring you. No, I'm just kidding. Good night. Get your rest. You can listen later if you want to. And if you don't, I'll sick your dad after you. But no. So the Olmec had a solar calendar. The Mayans, or the Maya, however you want to refer to them, using their knowledge of astronomy and copying or building off of that Olmec calendar, the solar calendar, were able to create the most accurate calendar in the ancient world. All right. So this is the type of civilization that we're talking about. This is the calendar that literally took us all the way into 2012 and then stopped. People were freaking out because, oh my God, it's the end of the world because the Mayan calendar ends in 2012. I'm pretty sure they just thought, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and stop it here for now. And we'll start another one later, when we get to that point.
Right.
They didn't get to that point. Spoiler alert. But, just saying, that's a whole different deal. So, anyway, like the pyramids of Egypt are alleged to be, yes, calendar. Oh, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Sorry. Shay started singing too.
Oh, God, help us all.
Well, at least in the chat, she typed the song. Anyway, so like the pyramids in Egypt were alleged to be, although it has been found to not be completely accurate. Calendars are circular or repetitive. That is correct. Actually, I found, what is the interval? It's like 6 years? 6 years or something like that. You can just start reusing your calendars. And somehow with that outlook, it still works with leap year, and I'm not 100% sure how. I really don't, but I found out that I took calendars that were at 6-year intervals. Like, I had physical calendars, and maybe it depends on when you started, I don't know. But I took calendars at 6-year intervals and found out that you could just start reusing them, which was weird, especially including leap year. But I wonder if leap year's if that extra day in leap year is what actually makes it possible for that to happen. I don't know. Fun fact, if you didn't know, Matt, do you know why? Do you know why leap year, where when leap year comes around, they tack the extra day onto February?
What's that?
Because I'm drawing a blank as to the society, as to the country, I want to say it's Old Norse, but I could be wrong. Like Vikings. I want to say it's that sect, but I could be wrong. You're going to have to look this up for yourself because I'm drawing a blank on it now. I actually knew this, but their calendar, their year actually started in March. So February for us, when we eventually adopted the Hebrew calendar and started in January, their calendar started in March. February was the last month and the shortest month, so that's why they added the extra day in February.
Interesting.
I learned that in history at the college. I didn't take history in the college, but the history professor was presiding over a meeting and gave us that little bit of trivia. And if anybody's going to know, it's that guy, because this guy teaches history.
I lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now? I think the people can hear me. It's whether or not you can hear me or not.
I can.
The way this guy teaches history is epic. Like, he'll take his class, they'll go get a whole bunch of wooden swords, and they will actually act out how the fights would have gone, type thing. That's how he teaches history. That is my kind of history teacher. I love that. That is great. Just take all the students outside with a bunch of wooden swords and wooden shields and just act out how the battle would have gone. Give each person a role, and then basically he's like the dungeon master, basically. If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons type thing, he's like the dungeon master, and he's saying, or he's like the person playing a board game, and you go over here and strike that, and yada yada yada, and that's how he teaches, and it is epic. I love it.
Nice.
But anyway, back to the matter at hand, that I completely forgot what I was saying. Inventions. That's the whole thing there. But what I wanted to hit on was typically the Mayan pyramids. They did actually find bodies in them, so they were used by the Maya as tombs.
Yes.
They actually were. Now, oddly enough, you have these two different civilizations. So you have the ancient Egypts The ancient Egypts, not the Egyptians, the Egypts. No. So, the ancient Egyptians. What do you mean I'm in your head tonight? I'm sorry, I just read that. When and one. Oh, ha 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 ha. It says ha ha ha. Anyway, sorry, I was reading the comments. My bad. So you have the ancient Egyptians, if I can talk, and then you have the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Olmec, and various different civilizations. Jen, I am psychically slapping you. That is what I am doing right now. Psychically slapping you. Remember that. We're going to be touching on Mesoamerica a lot. Ooh, dragons. Dell. I need to have a chit chat with you at some point in time, because I may kind of agree with that in my own little way. But my interpretation of dragons might be a little bit different than your interpretation of dragons. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, keep in mind that nothing stated on this show is fact. Nothing stated on this show is 100% proven fact, because they don't 100% know everything that went on. The Mayan pyramids have dragons on its steps. Yes, because the Mayan god Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl. Yeah. I think the Aztecs called it Quetzalcoatl. I could be wrong. We're not touching on the gods tonight, but I have actually talked about this before, and I do have it in my notes. I just don't have those notes in front of me. I could pull it up on a page, though. If you've ever watched the TV show Ancient Aliens, they've touched on this a little bit as well. That is, they do not sponsor us in any way, shape, or form, although it would be pretty kick-ass if they ever did. So if Giorgio's ever listening and decides he wants to help sponsor the network,
wink, wink.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm a fan of the hair, because mine totally does not match at all, because I don't have any. I'm bald. Bald is beautiful. Anyway, oh, this show is going so horribly tonight. I feel like I'm on the wrong Monday. This is not how this Monday is supposed to go. Oh. Focus. In the zone. I have totally lost my place. My train of thought has been derailed. It really has.
We were talking about serpents, dragons.
Serpents, dragons, that goes back to gods, which will be a different show, because we will be talking about that, because we are going to be talking about the correlation between the ancient gods, both Egyptian and Mayan. We're going to kind of keep these two together as subjects, that because there's so many similarities for these different cultures between the buildings, even though they're shaped differently. You know what I mean? They're built differently, but not. So I'm turning him down for right now because I'm on my own little monologue type thing. Sorry, Matt. But the pyramids at like Giza, for example, in Egypt, even though they kind of have the steps to them, it almost looks more like those steps to them are not only smaller, but were at one point in time attempted to be filled in so that it was more smoothed edges. But when you look at how the blocks are laid, the actual megalithic blocks, the multi-ton blocks that were used to build the ancient Egyptian pyramids and how tightly they were put together. No air gaps whatsoever. And then you have the Mayan pyramids, the Aztec pyramids, the Olmec pyramids, all of them the same way, with those blocks so tightly put together, no mortar. It's still standing to this day. Del, seriously, buddy, thank you for joining the show. If you get a chance, if you haven't already, be sure to check out the episode before this where we're talking about the ancient Egyptian pyramids and how the pyramid at Giza, a science team, actually discovered how the pyramid affects and channels electromagnetic energy. Yes, they all have running water on them. And they are all built on ley lines. That is correct. And this is every pyramid. You can take every major pyramid at least, or the towns, the cities that the pyramids were in, something in there is on a ley line. And every pyramid that they have discovered so far has some form of water near it or immediately under it. You know what? Del, if you are ever interested, I think maybe we should have you as a guest on this show.
Definitely.
Hey, haha. Sorry, Matt. I turned you back up again now. I'm going to keep you turned down, and now you have to yell. No. So, I mean, I like this Del person. I've seen Del in a few of the other chats before, but I have never actually held a conversation with him.
He was in chat last episode.
Was he?
I do believe so.
I missed it then. I'm sorry. Wow. I missed that. But I wasn't watching chat as much. Oh, you know what? You know why I probably missed it is I'm actually I went to the Spreaker website to read the chat this time. And last time I was in the record app reading it, and it just doesn't show up the same.
Yeah.
You know, so if I missed you, I apologize. I really do. But anyway, we're talking about pyramids. So you got the... Maybe I'm fascinated by the ancients. Oh, man. So, when you have the similarities between how the stones form together, how those megalithic stones are formed together. Yes, it does, Shay. It is just amazing to me that more than two. We're just going to focus on the Egyptians, and I shouldn't, but we are a world of just people, okay? We are all one race. We are the human race. I don't care what color you are. You can be white, black, yellow, red, pink, green, purple, blue, reptilian. I don't care. We are the human race. Unless you're reptilian, then you are part of the reptilians. But that is beside the point. I will still welcome you into my house as long as you're not going to do anything bad. That's just me. That's who I am. But I'm separating the Egyptians, and I'm going to kind of put the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Olmec, and all of them all in one category as the Mesos. We're going to call them the Mesos, and we're going to call these other guys the Egyptians. All right? So you have the Egyptians and the Mesos, and they have, although slightly different in architectural design, Egyptians have pyramids. Mesos have pyramids. They use megalithic blocks that fit together like seamlessly. And the Mesos have the exact same thing. Yes, Del, they have. It is amazing with the technology that they have to be able to do that too. They have found over 100,000 pyramids. Yes. So, just think about that. So you have all of these civilizations. Del talked about the Bosnians, which are over 30,000 years old. But, pyramids as energy sources, not necessarily sources. I always kind of pictured the pyramids as being a power plant type thing. You know, a power grid. You know, the way everything's lined up and everything like that. We don't know what actually went on back then. And when like before the last episode, I described the pyramid at Giza and compared it to Nikola Tesla's tower, the Tesla Tower. And there is not mortar between all of the blocks. The mortar that is the blocks that have mortar in between those, Del, and the ones in Egypt are actually where they have gone and repaired them in years later. If you go to the oldest parts of the pyramids, they are fit together extremely tightly, with nothing in between them actually holding them together. But where they have repaired or attempted restorations over the many generations, they have changed how they, you can actually see differences between when later groups of Egyptians attempted to repair parts of them to when what do you call them? Archaeologists have gone and tried to do it. So, oh yeah, the granite, yeah. But my brain is frying right now. Sorry.
Too many squirrels.
Yeah, too many squirrels. Too many squirrels. I'm sorry, guys. I have completely lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere. It'll come to me at some point. But it is amazing to me that all these different cultures have similar architecture, and they're nowhere near each other. Completely different parts of the world. They are nowhere near each other. Have probably never encountered each other, at least logically. They had no way to encounter each other. Unless they hopped in a boat. But how was this information shared? How is it that the Egyptians, the Mesos, years before that, the Bosnians, years, just this long range of years, if you go into the deepest, darkest pits of some of these pyramids, even the most common ones, how old really are the oldest parts of the Pyramid of Giza? Are they really only 3,000 years old, or are they much, much older? Now there's a lot of places are only allowing non-invasive methods of archaeology. I'm not saying that that's the case in Egypt, but like what we talked about in the first episode with the mounds, a lot of places are only allowing for non-invasive methods of archaeology, ground penetrating radar, various 3D imaging, that type of thing that you can do from the sky. And some of these things we may never actually know. Ha ha ha! Stargates. I really like this guy. Stargates. I love this guy. So, I know it's a completely different Stargate that you're talking about because, yeah, but you bring up Stargate, and that brings up one of the very first things that ever, because I was younger when it came out, one of the very first things that ever got me thinking, hey, you know what? I'm betting these pyramids must have something to do with aliens. That was the very first thing that got me thinking. That was a TV show called Stargate. Actually, it was a movie called Stargate, and then an offshoot was Stargate SG-1, an offshoot of that was Stargate Atlantis, and then an offshoot of that failed was Stargate SG-U. If you can't tell, I was a little bit of a Stargate fan. Nonetheless, it portrayed the pyramids as landing pads for extraterrestrial vessels. Now, that may seem a little bit far-fetched. However, there are legends, and I think quite possibly the very distinct possibility of actual Stargates existing throughout the world and other worlds. Not ones that are giant rings that big puddle of water and you walk through them and 3 seconds later you're there. But, you know, I do, there is something to be said about wormhole theory and whatnot. So that is something for another episode. That is something for another show. I will have talked for about 40 minutes here now, rambling on about stuff that has nothing to do with the actual thing that we're supposed to be talking about. And I haven't even let Matt talk yet.
That's okay. You're doing great.
Matt's like, no, don't let me talk. Don't make me talk, please. No.
I'm the silent partner.
Quantum entanglement. Oh my God. Dell and I just need to sit down and have a conversation with each other sometime. I that's just exactly how it is. Anyway, okay, so for the Mesoamerican pyramids, like the Mayan pyramids, we're talking a couple 100 feet tall. I mean, that's a lot. And just like with the Egyptian pyramids, there's either aquifers underneath them or what are they called? Cenotes? Cenotes. Thank you. I knew. I was close. I was very close. Somehow I combined the Mayan thing for an underground water cavern with something Native American smoke and came out with like some new psychedelic deal. Anyway, wow. I apologize, folks. I am bombing this tonight. Well, everything is like contingent on water. So everybody knows that for the most part, the Mayans are gone. I mean, there are descendants of the Mayans that are still alive today. But the civilization, the actual culture, is no longer around. Obviously. And there's a lot of speculation as to why. One of the big ones is that their farming methods led to exhausted fields and failing crops. Personally, I think they just hooked up with their gods and just went home. But you start talking about the missing millions of people, and then just boom, they're gone.
But it didn't happen overnight. I mean, it took generations.
Right. It's not like, it's not like they just walked away, but
if you look at the size of the Mayan the area that they encompassed, it was quite large.
Extremely large.
And it wasn't really one central ruling. It was multiple cities.
Oh, yeah.
And, they traded with each other and all that stuff. And I think probably a lot of it had to do with, overdevelopment. You build this city-state, such and such spot, eventually, you're going to run out of resources. And, I think it probably had a compounding effect on the whole civilization as a whole.
I mean, it probably didn't help that their sporting events were actually life or death.
Right.
I feel like our sporting events would be more entertaining if they followed the Mayan rules.
Yes. Yes.
I would not, this one's for Shay. All right, this is all for Shay right here. I would not be pissed off about a multi-$100 million signing deal if it was literally every game this person might die at the end of it. Basically, we'll talk about it another time in depth, but there was a version of basketball, I'm going to say. Ring ball, whatever. I don't remember what it was called. They had a name for it. But it was a great honor for them to be chosen to play this game. But literally, most times during actual gaming events, most times the losing team was executed.
And sometimes both sides were.
And sometimes both sides were executed. It was a ceremonial thing. But it's like, whoa. That right there. That is when it is worth paying somebody, $950 million to play a game. Because, you might die. Just saying. Make them sign the contract, and then they die, and then you don't have to pay them the contract. It's great.
Yeah. Win-win.
If you die, you forfeit this money back to us. Well, this doesn't sound like a very smart deal. I am not down to play games to the death. Oh, yeah. No, Jen. You and I, Uno, to the death. No, not really. I would never do that to somebody. It's just wrong. Might be entertaining, but it's wrong. And, Matt, word of advice. Do not ever play Uno Attack with 7 people.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very... Yeah.
We played one hand. We dealt one hand for 7 people. And it's allegedly a game you can play up to 10. One hand, 7 people, 2 hours... Still didn't actually finish. The person with the least amount of cards in their hand won. Yeah. It was great. So, other similarities between the Mayans and the Egyptians, they both had their own form of writing. Now, the Egyptians had hieroglyphs. The Mayans had their own form of glyphs. But they had a writing structure, which means they had a form of education. Marriage. Oh my God. Playing a game to the death is marriage. Wow. God, now I lost what I was saying again. Writings. They were okay. So, two different cultures, similar, not identical. I keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry. I'm hitting my mic over and over again. It's right in front of me, and I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. It is very hard for me to not talk with my hands. You really think that? Modern humans used the buildings but didn't build them. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. I just lost everything that I had up.
So we were talking about writings.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take it, Matt.
One of the three locations in the world where writing had begun independently. You had Mesoamerica, Sumeria, China, and looks like Egypt had getting their writings from. I think it was probably from the Sumerians.
That could be.
But then they also had a lot of influence from the Greeks and the Romans.
Yeah.
Lost the page.
That's okay. My internet crashed. I'm not even 100% sure if we're still live. Obviously, you and I are still connected. Somebody on there will tell us something. But, I lost everything. Maybe. My record app is frozen. So even if someone comments, I can't see it.
I guess we're still live.
Oh, we are still live?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, when I said technical difficulties, I was not kidding. Except I thought it was all on his end. I'm having technical difficulties too. Typically my difficulties are only mental. So, if you guys say something to me, I apologize because I can't see it currently. I'm trying to get stuff back up. And I've pretty much talked about everything that I remember off the top of my head that I wanted to talk about. So, I mean, this could be a short show, too. We made it pretty close. We're, 20 after? Like I said, I apologize that I was not even remotely as close to prepared for this as I wanted to be. Because typically I will do several hours of research on top of research that I've already done to determine if anything new has come up from the last time I did any research. New discoveries, updates, because a lot of times, they'll think, it lasts this long, this happened this far ago. Oh, well, new advancements in carbon dating actually tell us that it is this long ago.
Yeah, I mean, dates always changing.
And, it's just one of them things. So, and I have no idea what just happened. If you guys can still hear me, I apologize. I'm going to be live for a little bit here in the dark. And when I mean in the dark, I mean in the dark. I just lost all 3 screens, but my computer's running. But all 3 of my screens are black right now. So,
And here I thought I was going to have technical problems.
right? Obviously, I'm still connected because I'm talking to you, Matt. So stuff is still going on, but all 3 of my screens are black. What is going on?
Telling you, it's not aliens, but it's aliens.
Right? Whoa! Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thanks, honey.
Thanks. Well, everything just popped back up again. And I mean everything. Holy crap. Everything's here. Okay, what did I miss in the chat? Let's see. Oh, yep, we're live. Egyptians were thieves. Okay. Yes, they claimed the pyramids, but they didn't find any writings or relics inside them. The dynastic Egyptians wrote on everything. That is correct. Not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, before shit gets real here and something actually shuts down, I think we're just going to go ahead and close out for the night. This is something that we are going to continue later on. We're going to come back to this when Matt and I have not had... Matt and I have not had such hectic weeks that we haven't been able to actually prepare the way we would like to. We're not going to do this the very next episode, though. I'm not 100% sure what the next episode's going to be. The next episode will be a surprise. Shay will find out as soon as I figure it out, because the next episode is not in 2 weeks. I'm turning you down, Matt. Sorry. Your train's going by again. The next episode is not in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The next episode will be May 6th. May 6th. That is the next episode. Luna, when did you join the show? I missed that.
I think I'm going to have to re-listen to this show. Just to see what I missed.
It's like, what? Maybe I never saw Luna show up. Luna was hiding.
Night, Luna.
Well, good night, Luna. Thanks for saying hi. No. So May 6th, that is going to be the next episode of Origin. I do not have the topic prepared yet. It will be a surprise. Luna's been listening the whole time in the background, not saying hi in the chat.
Nice to know we have stalkers.
Yes. Well, you know what? It is nice to know that there are people actually listening that aren't chatting too. Although, if you are listening and you're not chatting, you should be chatting. It's a secret. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. I've got alarms going off for work. So, yeah. Anyway, Matt, why don't you go ahead and talk about the next show that they're going to hear tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Into the Pit with Kyle. Shay, help me out here. Who's this guest?
Matt, you're supposed to know this.
Hey, I was researching.
But we throw you off. You know what, Del, though? That's what makes it great. Oh, it's not live. It's a pre-record. Pete the Lens.
Pete the Lens.
Pete the Lens. So. All right.
There will be no show Thursday or Friday. Let's see. Peggy will be back on Saturday.
Nice. All right. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. And as always, have a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.
Shut up and sit down.
For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.